Hello and good morning. I'm going to be presenting the original Karate Kid movie, which was in 1984, and the remake of the Karate Kid, which was in 2010. Now, this film was actually, the story was about a young boy who moved out of his hometown to another city where he was obviously vulnerable because he didn't know anybody, and he was just trying to make new friends, or he was just trying to fit in, really. That was for the 1984. And the 2010 one, he actually moves to Beijing, which is in China, which is even on a bigger scale, like that's out of America, so he's even more vulnerable because he doesn't speak Chinese and he's just learning new things. As the story progresses, both characters, Dre Parker and Daniel LaRusso, they are both bullied by a group of young men. They just don't like them. That's like the point of it. They just don't like them, so they would beat them up and say nasty things to them. Until one day, a teacher would come along and actually save them from these bullies. And obviously, both the 1984 Daniel LaRusso and the 2010 Dre Parker, they're amazed by this. So the teachers, they teach them how to defend themselves, and eventually their martial arts progresses and they become better and they're able to defend themselves. Then they enter a competition. In this competition, they actually go on and they are able to win. So that's the summary of the films. The 1984 original was directed by John G. Avildsen, who is known for being the best director of the Rocky film, which was in 1976, which starred Sylvester Stallone. The 2010 remake was directed by Harlow, who is known for also directing Agent Cody Banks, One Night at McCall's, Hamilton's, and The Lounge, Flate Order 2. He is also known as a producer to a Sony Pictures Animation live-action CG film. Forgot to remember. I'm just going to play you now firstly the 1984 Karate Kid trailer.
Come on, this is it. This is the end of the line.
Telling me. Yeah, I really think we're gonna do good here. I have a very positive feeling. I'm telling you now.
This place is a dump. We should go back to New Jersey.
God.
How did that happen?
No, you don't want to hear the truth. All you want to hear is how great it is out here. Well, maybe great for you, but it sucks for me.
Are you okay?
I'm just sleeping. I hate the place. I hate it. I just want to go home.
Karate.
Yeah. Hey, you ever tried one?
No,
Would you?
I promise. Karate. You promise, plan. I see. You do.
Oh, I haven't seen you around.
Have you been hooking? Sort of.
Wax on. Wax off. Off with heading. Down. Wax on. Out. Wax on.
You don't come in my dojo and drop a challenge of evil. If you get your boy in the matter, you and I will have a major problem. Near place.
Turn it. Then the straight. Yes. Let me hit.
So karate's fighting. You're trained to fight.
That's what you think.
No.
Then why train?
So I won't have to fight.
I don't
You prove a point. What you know is you get meat.
Hey, what kind of belt do you have?
GT Penny 398.
Okay, that was the 1984. I'm going to now show you the 2010 trailer.
I feel like we're on a quest to start a new life. Go ahead. Ask him, what's your name in Chinese?
Dude, from Detroit.
Welcome to Beijing.
You gonna do something?
I just want to go home.
This is home.
I thought you were just a maintenance man.
The only way to stop them is to face them.
I will teach you real kung fu. Hand up your jacket.
Take it down.
Put it on. Take it off.
I already did.
Get it off. Kung Fu lives in how we put on the jacket. Be strong. Take off the jacket. It lives in how we treat people. Everything is Kung Fu.
Connect to the energy around you.
I get it.
You're Yoda, I'm like a Jedi.
Your focus needs more focus.
I don't want to be scared anymore.
Life will knock us down, but we can choose to get back up. Remember, always strong.
That's nasty.
Okay, that was the 2010 trailer. Okay, now I'm going to give you the financial determinants for both the original and the remake. I'm going to start off with the 1984. For the budget, I couldn't actually find the exact figures for it, but I did a bit of background research and I looked at films that were made by Columbia Pictures around that era of 1984, in the 1980s, and I came to the conclusion that the film was roughly budgeted at $30 million. The box office for this film came to $90,815,558. The gross profit came to $60,815,558. The gross margin came to 5.52%. The markup came to 202.71%. The Corrupt Kid was actually able to pick up $5,031,753 in its opening weekend of its release. The domestic gross was $90 million again, $815,558. The film did well by picking up 2 awards at the Young Artist Awards, the film also did well by coming fifth, the fifth highest grossing film in the year of 1984. The best grossing film for that year was actually Ghostbusters, who came under the same company as The Karate Kid, which was Columbia Pictures. Trivia for this film was that the referee in the final match, who is Pat E. Johnson, he's a Karate Kid expert and former student of Chuck Norris, who is a martial arts expert. He instructed many movie stars in karate. He is also credited as the fight instructor or choreographer for the film. Now for the 2010 financial returns. The budget was $40 million. The box office was $359,126,022 for box office. The gross profit was $319,126,022. The gross margin was 88.86%. The markup was 797.81%. The Karate Kid remake was able to make a huge $55,665,805 in its opening weekend of its release. The domestic gross was 176,591,618 and in other countries it made $182,534,404. The trivia that I came across for this movie was that Sony actually considered changing the film's title name to The Kung Fu Kid, but the idea was nixed by the producer, who is Jerry Weintraub. At the very beginning of the movie, one of the markings on Dre's ward says the 7th of the 8th, 9th birthday. This is the actual 9th birthday of Jaden Smith, who plays Dre. It's quite interesting. Moving on to technologies of production. The original 1984 film was shot on 35mm film using Panavision cameras and 1.85 one aspect ratio. The 2010 remake was shot on a 35mm anamorphic Kodak Vision 2383 D cinema and 2.35 one aspect ratio. Now for the distribution and exhibition. The original film was released in theatres on the 22nd of June in 1984. However, it was not released in Japan and South Korea until the 16th of February 1985. This was due to the media in those days. It wasn't as up to date, it wasn't digital, causing the film to be released a lot later in different countries. For the reception, on the release of the film, Roger Ebert, who is a film reviewer, named the film one of the best of the years, one of the year's best. Now for the trends. In the 1980s, there were quite a few trends, especially in film. These film trends would consist of probably action, horrors, and home movies. In the year of 2010, the main trendsetters were action films, such as Kick-Ass, The Expendables, Shrek. Also from about the year 2000 onwards, remakes and sequels became a popular thing to do in the film industry. Here are 3 films from the year 2010, which are pretty much action movies. I'm gonna show you at least just one of them.
Dave. Hi, it's Dave, isn't it? Oh, sorry. Oh, I see. You need.
They are the world's greatest mercenaries. The only life they've ever known is war. The only loyalty they've ever had is to each other.
Got the 4 on the left.
Why don't you take the 2 on the right and leave the rest?
Not that fast anymore. Oh, here we go.
The only thing faster is...
Right.
Exactly.
We'll see.
Well, I got 3 pieces of work. 2 a walk in the park, 1 to hell of back.
So, working for the agency.
I gotta recon this island first. The only thing you need to know is the job's real and the money's real. Give this job to my friend here. He loves playing in the jungle. Right? Right. It's his problem.
Was that the concert?
Follow me, please. People who fight back are killed. Now we have a dying place. Maybe you can help.
I don't think so. How would I leave? Control this picture.
Everything.
You don't have the manpower, firepower, you'd be dead in the water.
Ray, they got a small army. What do we got? 4.5 men.
That's too thin. That's no use being your friend.
We will kill this American disease! I promised myself I'm not for something counts.
People live through terrible times, but you must believe you can survive.
10 seconds, you won't believe what's gonna happen.
What happened to you? My ass kicked.
Are you crazy? Could kill me!
You're welcome!
Every one of us is expendable!
Bro, man.
Okay, that was the trailer for The Expendables, which was out in 2010. Now moving on to the cast. As you can see, the names for the cast have changed pretty much completely. Obviously, Ralph Macchino, who starred as Daniel LaRusso in 1984, and then you had the remake starring, who was Dre Parker, starred by Jaden Smith. And as it goes down, you can see that Pat Morita was Mr. Kisu, who was a teacher, and then you had Mr. Han, who was also the teacher in 2010, played by Jackie Chan. Then you had Randy Heller, who played the mother in 1984, Lucille Russo. Then you had Shireen Parker, who was the mother of 2010, played by Taraji P. Henson. Then you had Elizabeth Shue, who played the girlfriend, the girl who went out with Daniel Russo at Ali Mills. Then you had Mei Ying, played by Wen Wing Han, for the 2010 remake. And then you had, for the teachers of the bad guys, you had Yu Guangwang, who was Master Lee. Then you had John Kreese. You had John Kreese, who was actually played by Martin Cove. For the 1984 main leader of the bully gang, it was William Zachbar, who played Johnny Lawrence, and then you had this young 17-year-old boy called Shane, who played Shane. His name was actually Zengwei Wang. For star comparison, I decided to give you a bit of background information on the star characters. Ralph Macchino is an American-born actor who has previous experience in acting, where he appeared in television commercials such as Bubble Yum and Dr. Pepper. However, Ralph has mainly been best known for his star role as Daniel LaRusso in the original 1984 Karate Kid movie. Now, on the other hand, Jaden Smith is too an American-born actor who happens to be one of the fortunate kids who were born of the two-star parents who are Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. He also had previous acting experience, but in bigger role productions such as the award-winning The Pursuit of Happiness. Here is another star comparison between the two teachers. Pat Morita, I was surprised to find out that he was actually born in America, California, Hazleton, on the 28th of June 1932. He actually shot to fame when he took on the role playing Matzo Arnold Takashi on the 1974 to 1984 show Happy Days. The height of his career came when he landed the role as Mr. Kazook in the Karate Kid. Now then, Jackie Chan at a young age was recognized a lot quicker by the world when he starred in the Kung Fu movie Drunken Master, which is a phenomenal film. Jackie Chan has also been able to star in a sequel movie called Rush Hour. It would seem that Jackie Chan is evidently the harder working actor out of the two, simply because he has earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's a big achievement. I'm now going to compare the two evil masters, as we call it. Martin Cove has been in the film industry for a number of years. He's an American actor. Most of his appearances and moves have not really been recognized in the industry on a major scale anyways. He appeared as a co-star in the American television series Cagney and Lacey, which was about policing and stuff. However, there were more popular television series on at the time, which were a lot bigger. Like there was a comedy show on called Different Strokes. That was between two young boys and being adopted by an older person, and it was really fun. It lasted from 1978 to 1986. Martin Cove, however, did have two major film appearances, which was in Rambo, First Blood. It was also starred by Sylvester Stallone, and the Karate Kid, obviously. Then you have Yu Rongwang. He is a Chinese-born actor and martial artist who started his career actually in Hong Kong. He became more established when he landed a star role in the Kung Fu films such as Iron Monkey and New Police Story. In 2010, he decided to take on the role as a martial arts teacher in the Karate Kid, obviously, the remake, along with his longtime friend who was actually Jackie Chan. The social, political, regulatory factors for this film, I came across Like, one thing that stood out to me was bullying. Like, even to this day, bullying is an ongoing problem in society, especially in schools and outside of schools. Any teenager who is being bullied may find it hard to come forward and tell somebody that who can probably help them in this desperate situation. After watching a film like this, parents, friends, teachers, or even strangers wanted to get involved in helping their children feel good about themselves. Also giving children something to do after school so that it can prevent them from getting up to mischief or just loitering on the streets. I actually came across an advert which where the scenario is of a boy who has ginger hair and he is being bullied by some kids from school, and another kid sees this who is actually a stranger to him, he doesn't know him, but he decides to dye his hair ginger just to make that boy feel okay with how he is, like just so he has some sort of self-esteem. I'm just going to quickly show you. Another social, political, and regulatory factor that I came across was actually a strong subject, which is racism. In the 1980s, racism was still very prominent in the media. For example, in the 1980s, the music channel MTV did not showcase black people's music. For what reason, I don't know. And this was until Michael Jackson, who was a black African American, his short film, Thriller, was actually shown on MTV. The media back then, literally, they didn't support or publicize unfair play. So if there was a problem in society such as racism, the media wouldn't showcase that, they wouldn't bring that to the table and expose it to the public. So the way this ties into the film, I could see that Mr. Kezo, he was actually of Asian descent, and Daniel LaRusso was half Greek and half Italian. So it shows that two races can come together and work together well and get along. For the synergies between the films, I found quite a few pointers. I'm going to start with the original and the remake had the same concept of a single mother raising her son. So there were not really much differentiations to discuss on the mothers. On the general scale, the films both had similar scenes. For example, when Dre and Daniel are both being physically bullied by a group of ill-mannered martial arts students. The film was set in Los Angeles, California, However, the remake's location was set in Beijing, China, and Detroit, Michigan. In the remake, all of the characters' names are completely different, as I pointed out before. In the original film, Mr. Kazook was able to demonstrate his skill of fighting against all odds, so defending himself. In the remake, Mr. Han was also able to demonstrate his defensive skills against the bullies. In both the original and the remake of the Karate Kids, the Karate Kids were actually able to manage. They were able to hurt their legs severely from taking part in that competition. In the remake of the film, there are two different but similar reasons as to why the masters are single. The only difference I would say there is that in the remake, Dre's mother is a lot more active compared to Daniel's mother. In the remake, also, you were able to get a background history of martial arts, so I thought it was good that in the 2010 remake that Dre could actually go to China so he could see for himself where things originated and how martial arts started. As you saw in the trailer before, there was a cobra actually on the edge of the Great Wall of China with a person balancing on one leg, trying to stay focused. I thought that was pretty amazing. You don't see that in America. So, that was the synergies. The vertical and horizontal integration, I came across the fact that both the original and remake were produced by the same man, who is Jerry Van Trout, and both films were distributed by Columbia Pictures. With the remake, I found that Will Smith, who is actually Jaden Smith's father, he's a huge actor, A-list actor in Hollywood. Jada Pinkett Smith, who is his mother, James Lasita, and Ken Stovitz were also in the company of Jerry Van Trout in producing the film, 2010 film. Jerry Van Trout was also the producer of the Karate Kid 2 and 3. The 2001 remake of Ocean's 11 was another film which he had produced. However, the distributors were different. The distributors for that film were the Warner Bros. Pictures. John Lasita, who assisted in producing the 2010 remake of Karate Kid, he's a long-time friend of Will Smith, who is Jaden Smith's father. He was the executive producer of iRobot, the iRobot film, which starred Will Smith. The distributors for this film were actually 20th Century Fox. Here's the overview of both the original and the remake. The 2010 remake of this film was good because the storyline was pretty much similar to the original. However, there was a lot more information given on the background of martial arts in the 2010 remake. The original movie does not give you an in-depth detail on each of the characters. For example, I wasn't able to see or gather any background information on Addie Mills, who was the lover of Daniel LaRusso. However, in the remake, I was actually able to see that I was able to see Maying's father and how strict he was on her and her education. So yeah, there was a difference there. The remake had a lot more comedy and action thrown into it. It was full of thrilling things. For example, when there was a person on the edge of the Great Wall of China, as I stated before, balancing whilst focusing on a snake. Like, that was pretty amazing. I believe that the remake did a better job of entertaining the audience simply because it appeared to be just a polished version of the original. It had more action, it had more stunts. So, yeah. Personally, I think the remake actually won me over. However, the original is still actually a great film, and I would recommend anyone to go and see it. My star rating for both films were, as you can see, I've given 1984 Karate Kid a 3-star, and the 2010 remake, I've given it a 5-star. Thank you for your time.